So there's this movement, stop killing games. I
Yeah.
totally agree. Okay, in what way do we think the big corpos they are killing games?
Well, they're not overtly killing the game. They're not actually like saying, "Oh, we're gonna yeah, let's go after this game." Well, maybe they are, but I mean, it's more like they just stop supporting the game, and then they take the game offline, and then that's it. It's over. And if you spent any money on it, if you paid for the game, who cares? That's it.
Why
You
would they delete it on on their server and stuff in the first place?
Because it costs them money.
Right.
I mean, it costs them money to run servers and all that stuff. So they just prefer to just get rid of the game entirely and whatever, and try to sell you the new game, whatever they have. That's
Uh, s- I mean, that's why we had physical copies before, right? In
well,
the
well,
first place.
it's a technological thing. Like before we had consoles, like and PC games, of course. But before they didn't have the whole internet connected game thing, live service, you name it. They didn't have none of that stuff before, so they just couldn't do it. They couldn't have a game that they could literally pull the plug on whenever they want it. Like for example, like look at Nintendo. Nintendo is very litigious about their games. Extremely the most litigious game company. I bet you, if Nintendo had the power to shut down your NES or Super NES or an N64, whichever console, if they had the power to shut it down so that it didn't work anymore, they would probably do it. You know, they because they they are very protective about their games and whatever you do. Because right now there's like millions of these consoles just floating around. People just do whatever they want, and we've seen in current year, like when people do whatever they want with like the Switch or whichever, that Nintendo suddenly starts patching things and like changing things and whatever. We've seen this behavior. They block a lot of player stuff. They also put protections on the games to stop prevent them from like, yeah, oh, you need to be online or some bullshit, like that kind of stuff can happen. I mean, Nintendo doesn't do the online always online that much, but other companies do. Like, there are single player games out there that require online to play, and if you don't have it, that's it. You can't play the game. So that means that even if you have it installed, like on your console, if your console's not connected to the internet, you won't be able to play the game. Those kinds of things exist. And the main issue is that when those companies stop supporting the game, and they could just shut the game down whenever they want, and that's it. You'll never play the game again.
Yeah. So I mean, if it if it costs money for those company, it is in a way understandable if it's not profitable and they need money to invest in
Yes,
a new game, right?
yes,
So
yes,
in that way, it's understandable that they
yes.
they do have an argument or a motivation to pull the plug.
Well, they have motivation, as you, but that's the correct term. But mostly motivate. They don't have an argument. They have motivation. the The problem is the that they designed the game this way in the first place, which is totally not needed. It's completely arbitrary.
Could you
You
could you
know.
give an example?
Well, I mean, like for example, one of the best examples, when the whole "Stop Killing Games" thing was first announced by Ross, Accursed Farms, on YouTube. That's where we get the topic from. A lot of people came up with a lot of examples of what this looks like in practice, what this this killing games idea looks like. The best example I saw, it was like so insane to me. Modern Warfare 3. I think it was 3. But let's just say an older Modern Warfare title. I don't remember the exact one, the person using the example, but it's one of the older ones where you could create your own server. You create your own online server or LAN server and just
Hmm.
host it yourself and just play with people whenever, the multiplayer, of course, and of course the campaign, but it's about the multiplayer.
Uh-huh.
The old one, I think it was either Modern Warfare 2 or 3, this person used. The old one, there were still online servers for, because people were just hosting them themselves. You can still play the old version if you bought it on Steam. You can still play it online right now because people are still hosting these servers themselves. Because back in the 2000s, all FPS games came with the ability for you to host your own server, your own game. I mean, I used
Oh
to
yeah.
play I used to play Counter Strike back then, and it was like you just go on the server browser inside the game and just log in and just play. And all these servers are hosted by people. Some of them even had different rule sets and whatever. The money you earned was different than some of them. Maybe they even had like some of these joke servers where like they messed with the gravity. They only did the funny maps,
Right, right, right.
the clown maps, well, your Honey I Shrunk the Kids maps where you're really tiny, that kind of stuff. That was the 2000s FPS. People hosting their own servers, or if you go to LAN party, people would set up LAN servers, several of them, so that everybody on the LAN party could play a game, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, one of these Modern Warfare games, I think, like I said, 2 or 3. I don't remember exactly. It wasn't one. They were talking about 2 or 3. Um, had a remake. Modern Warfare is being remade. I think they're up to 3. Are they? I'm not sure exactly. Um, but
I'm not sure either.
yeah, but the original Modern Warfare is being remade, and they've already released several. Um, one of them, the like with the funny part was that at one point they shut down the servers for the remake of Modern Warfare 2 or 3. That was the argument, that you could not play the remake but the original was still playable because it has servers hosted by players themselves, but the new one was not playable anymore because uh, Activision shut down the servers. You know, that's like that's like the best argument I saw for the entire for the issue. You know, that the the new remake of the game was made with all these modern bullshit. We're gonna kill games ideas, while the old one does not have that. You know, and then suddenly the old one is completely playable, and whatever, and everything is fine. You know, so that's the best argument I saw for having this for this entire thing. And also there's other games as well. The other games, like because the campaign Stop Getting Games campaign focuses on the Need for Speed game. It was an online Need for Speed game, but it has a single player campaign that doesn't really need online because you don't really interact with other players during that single player campaign. But they took it down along with the rest of the game anyway. And the main thing is that people are asking Ubisoft to just release a patch where the campaign of the game, which people liked it a lot and they want to play it again. Just release a patch where the campaign of the game is playable again, and that's it. That's all Ubisoft. That's all they're asking for. That's that. Nothing more than that. Ubisoft doesn't have to do anything else. Just patch it so that the campaign works offline. That's it. But they're not doing that. But also another thing, there was a private server for this game because Ubisoft did not offer the game anymore. There was a private server for it, so people could still play it, and they managed to have the game working with campaign and everything. Ubisoft shut it down. They told them to shut it down because at the time they were releasing a new game in that franchise, and they probably wanted all players to move over to that game.
Mm.
So they literally shut down the ability for players to play the game, and they um, do not want players to play the game because they don't want to release a patch to allow players to play the single player campaign inside that game. So those are the two examples that come to mind for this behavior from these companies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cut that one out, please.
yeah, yeah.
The In terms of our cyberpunk media, have we seen this before?
Oh yeah, like corporate control over what people do on online is one of the hallmarks of cyberpunk media. I mean, it's pretty surprising how accurate that part was. But of course,
Well,
it's a
what about this case that media is being controlled specifically
oh yeah,
by
yeah,
corpos?
yeah. I mean, it's several like all the all almost all cyberpunk stories have this. It's very common. The corporations control the media. The corporations control entertainment. They can determine what you do or don't do. That's like one of the most basic fundamental ideas inside the genre. Like almost every story has it. It's like completely universal in the thing. And I'm surprised actually how accurate it is, because I mean, sure, back in the day, the writers when the genre started, I'm sure it's more nuanced these days because now we have more information, and writers these days probably just outright put it in there as the way it works in modern day, because back in the day, like we talked in previous episodes, a lot of the writers didn't really know anything about computers. I mean, even William Gibson, when he wrote Neuromancer, he never used a computer before in his life. He had no idea what he was writing about. So but these days they do, of course, because computers are all over the place. um but the story still had this aspect, but it was mostly about controlling the media and controlling the narrative of stories. And in some of the stories, it did go over into, they have the ability to prevent you from logging in. They have the ability to prevent you from using certain technologies or devices, that kind of stuff. Some of the stories, I mean, in Neuromancer, they did that to the main protagonist. They prevented him from, but that was a bit more hardcore in the way it worked. They literally, you know, burned away his synapses or his neural links or whatever. But it's still, the corpo controls were still fairly substantial there. um so it's like the the idea that the corpos can determine what the individual does with the products they buy or use has been a thing in cyberpunk since the inception of it. It's always been around. you know it's
And
it's yeah.
and that's on their like uh company versus consumer base, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's completely
But the
a
possibilities even there that it could be like company slash government
yeah,
versus consumer on a world basis,
yeah,
so that they are able to shut down
yeah,
all of that media or devices or tech
yeah,
of a specific country.
possibly, yeah. I mean, it is well known. Like for example, I mean, they don't do it, but a lot of high end cars and it's even coming down to lower end cars. The cars can be deactivated remotely by the company. They have this. Uh, they often do it in when the car gets stolen. For example, they can just shut it down and the car won't start anymore. You're gonna have to like really like take out parts and replace them or something like that to get the car started again. I mean, it's used mostly in that, like to stop a car from being stolen or whatever. Sure, but the technology is still there. So what happens if a certain company just suddenly changes their mind on how things work and just fuck it, we're bringing out a new car, shut down the old ones. We're not making money off them anyways. You know, I mean, it's a very extreme example, but that is basically what these companies are doing with games. Oh, we're bringing out the new game. Turn off the old one. Who cares? Even if they paid for, like for example, Blizzard did with Overwatch, when they went over to Overwatch 2, they just deleted Overwatch. You can't play Overwatch anymore. Even though, I mean, remember we played Overwatch. We bought Overwatch in 2016. We played a lot of it together.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It was 40 euros. Blizzard shut down that game. They removed the game. It's gone. We don't have the game anymore. They basically stole our money. You know, they just took
yeah.
it. I mean, I didn't pay 40 euros to play Overwatch 2. I paid to play Overwatch. So theoretically, we could sue them to get our money back. Like, hey, why are you changing this thing? Where's the game I paid for? They're like, yeah, but we have the second. The second version is a lot better. What do you mean? I paid for Overwatch. What are you? Why you getting? Why did you get rid of my game? That's it. In the Netherlands, you could probably make. You could probably win. I'm pretty sure you'll win that case. They're like,
Yeah.
I paid for Overwatch. These guys just removed the game, and then now suddenly there's this Overwatch 2. What are they doing? I don't get it. I want Overwatch, and it's literally that's it. It's literally that simple. You pay, you get the thing, and it's yours. The the fact that they can do this is due to the politicians not understanding how games work and how online services, are not regulated. There's like
Mm-hmm.
physical products. I mean, the companies can't come into your house and take away the game. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo isn't crashing into your house and removing the game, or Sony isn't crashing to your house and taking the game away. But
But
Sony has removed games from PlayStation 5s before from
yeah,
players. They have done that, even though they bought them or got them or whatever.
and it's their way to control their consumers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But what would be what would be a solution then for the companies, not in order not to lose money on games which are not very popular anymore?
Well, make better games, make more money. I mean, that's like
Yeah,
whatever.
that's what they're doing right
But
now.
the solution is to just when you're gonna shut down a game, just release a patch to allow the game to be played offline. That's it.
Right.
They don't have to do anything more than that. That's all they and that's exactly what the Stop Killing Games initiative is asking from Accursed Farms from Ross. Uh, that's literally what they're asking. They just want, if the company decides to shut down the game, that they just release a patch that allows players to just play the game offline. Nothing more, nothing less. That's it. And the company doesn't have to, like, because there was a lot of talk about, like, yeah, but then the company has to give away their copyright, or what are you talking about? The copyright is still from the company. We're just asking that you could start the game up and play the missions. That's it. We're just asking to play what we bought, what we paid for.
Yeah.
That's it. It's so weird that when it's an online, an online service, that suddenly people forget what ownership is. Oh, it's fine that the corpo thugs could crash into your house and just take your game away. That's fine, no problem. Even though you paid for it, they just forcibly take the game, and they'll be like, you can't play this game anymore. You have to buy the new game, and then they walk out with your game in their hands, and they're like, what? And you're like, okay, shit. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to
Mm,
buy the new game. That's what they're doing.
yeah.
But because it's like a digital on a marketplace on the PlayStation or whatever, they don't they don't see it that way. You know?
Yeah. So, dear listeners, if you have had any game deleted by one of these corpos or movies that you actually wanted to watch and go back like a trip down memory lane, please let us know in the comments. We're happy to listen to your experience as well in this.
Yeah, exactly. Because yeah, like you said, movies. This isn't a games only problem. This is like a
Yeah.
online platform problem. Like the Kindle, the Amazon Kindle, they are even worse than games because in a lot of times the games they just shut down online servers. But if you had a single player game and the game shuts down, the company says you can still play the single player game. But unless the single player game has online only shit, and then you can't play the game anymore because then the game doesn't connect to the server, even if it's a single player game. There are single player games like that, which is like the worst thing. You have like a single player game, and suddenly, if your internet connection drops, um, you get logged out of the game. Like, what are you talking about? I mean, it's the weirdest thing. These single player games that you have to constantly be logged into. That's like okay. When that shit shuts down, it's like okay, whatever, it's over. Um, but you have in the non-games front, you have streaming services that just remove movies and shows and whatever.
But that one is a bit harder, right? Regarding movies and
Yeah,
series,
yeah,
because the for example, in Netflix, they should own the property to it or the license to be able to air the show on their
yeah,
platform, right?
yeah, yeah. That's a bit more. That's a bit. Look, on Netflix, you're not paying for a specific movie. You're just paying for access. So that's different. I get it. Netflix is a bit different, but like, but some people were making the argument that people gave away too much of their ownership rights for access because they perceive access to a million movies to be better than owning 100 movies. You know what I mean? When people are like weighing the pros and cons, they rather have be able to see a million movies and only just have 100 of them. So that's how Netflix operates. But that means that a lot of stuff gets removed from Netflix, uh, and it's like a shitty thing to do. But yeah, you're not paying specifically for a movie, so it's like less like if you're gonna like sue Netflix or do some kind of complaint, I don't think you're gonna win with the Netflix with that kind of model, with the streaming services model, Disney Plus, whatever, Hulu, you name it, whatever streaming service you have. I don't think it's a winnable debate there because you're not paying for the movie. What is a winnable debate is what Amazon is doing on their Kindle platform. Kindle is that device of theirs that allows you to read ebooks. You know, it's like a tablet. It's like a tablet with an e-ink screen that looks like you're reading a book. It's not your typical flat touch screen with like backlighting or whatever. It's literally it looks like paper. But the Kindle device has an online store where you can buy books and blah 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 whatever. Amazon has been just outright deleting books from Kindles from people. And the thing with the Amazon platform is that you have to buy them. It's not like Netflix where you have a subscription and you just get a book. No, you have to buy the book. You have to buy the ebook, and they're just outright just deleting them. Like, oh, like there was one example in the video. There's like this book. There was like a licensing dispute between Amazon and the book publishers. So Amazon lost the license or something like that, or the license was disputed. So Amazon just removed the thing from the stores, but they didn't stop at the stores. They removed it from all devices. So everybody who bought the book just suddenly didn't have it anymore, which is
Yeah,
weird, you know. Go ahead.
but yeah, and that's a crazy thing. As in, we saw people talking then about being able to control the information flow, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much like people were talking about like it was a book burning. You know, like oh, it's basically
Yeah,
digital book burning. You're removing an entire book from the store, from everybody's devices and whatever, and then it's gone. So there's like this growing movement in the among book readers in the book scene where people are buying physical books now again. The whole Kindle ebook thing is starting to, you know, I'm not saying it's gonna go away because it's still a very useful device, but there are cracks in the armor. Let me put it that way. In the whole idea of a Kindle with a bookstore on the device and book platform and all that stuff. Because
how?
suddenly they realized these companies could just remove your entire thing and that's it. It's over.
Yeah. So how do you think this will evolve?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's very hard to say.
Yeah, there are
Uh,
movements
yeah.
to battle this, right?
Well, the only one I know of
How?
is Stop Killing Games, but that's specifically about games. But it would be interesting to see if they could, because the thing with Stop Killing Games is that it's making it's asking people to sign a petition, EU citizens to sign a petition to get the EU to talk about it. That's what these petitions are for. You can always start a petition for the EU, and you need to have 1 million signatures from EU citizens so that the topic gets put on the agenda of the EU Parliament. But that's all they promise. They just promise that the topic will be on the agenda and they will talk about it. They don't promise anything more. But that's usually enough to get the kind of the ball rolling on all these topics. And there are people in Parliament that are like that know about these things, and they would probably jump on it right immediately and then just keep the ball rolling. But the idea is to get it in Parliament, and that way maybe they could legislate a solution to get these companies to play ball and not you know basically steal our games from us. That's what they're doing. So if Stop Killing Games is successful, it could have ramifications down the line to ebooks or maybe even streaming services. You never know. Those kinds of things. But that remains to be seen. I mean, but right now, Stop Killing Games is the uh, movement that has the highest chance of being successful at doing something, anything.
Right.
Because these companies are just there's no rules for these companies. These platforms, there's zero rules. All the ownership and protection laws that exist for physical objects, they completely ignore them because it's digital or whatever. They completely ignore them. They don't they don't care. They don't really give a crap.
Right.
you know
So if you have any ideas on this, please, dear listeners, let us know in the comments below.
yeah.
And Data, I think on this note,
Yeah.
we reached the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
support us by liking and subscribing.
Yeah.
We also have a Discord channel where we can hang out and have discussions about these cyberpunky-ish topics.
Yeah, exactly.
The link is in the description.
Yeah.
Join us. We'll see you there.
Yeah.
And we will see you in the next episode.
Yeah, and
Have a
also
nice day.
also sign the petition. Stop killing games. Stop killing games.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
you love playing
Yeah,
games.
exactly.
Or if you love playing your old game.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Have a nice day.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Later.